Hey y'all, Flying High Five here. Just thought I'd give you a quick update on the trike. Didn't really do too much today, other than I was kind of silly, and I kind of have the motor in place, and here I'll kind of show you what I got. So I have the motor in place. I don't have the lower frame rail, welded up to the rest of the frame, but I got the, this is tacked, that's tacked. The neck is tacked, and then my upper frame rail, of course, is welded together. So that's all kind of tacked into place, and it looks pretty good. And I got the motor about in place, kind of doing that so I can take some measurements on where exactly that lower frame's gonna go. And I did something silly. I decided I was gonna say, hey, let's put the axles in here and see if let's see if the axles and the wheel will actually fit around this upper frame. Well, of course, we all know how that's going to go. They don't. So you can see on this side I got the axle, and I think I got some better light on the other side. So pull this out. This might take me a minute here. Of course, my fancy motorcycle building jig right there. That's almost as fancy as some of these tripods we've seen out there on YouTube. Alright, so we take our axle and we slide it in the differential. Maybe. Slide the axle in the differential. Now, it's got a little bit of movement in there. It's got to be able to slide in and out as the wheel moves up and down. But with that all the way in there, I can't really tell now. Obviously, the frame and the engine are not together, so you can see I can move the frame. But even so, I can't put the axle in on both sides and not have the wheel rubbing, because obviously the brake here, the backing plate of the brake right here will fit on the inside of this flange. You pull the U-joint off and slide the axle through that hole and bolt it in here, and I've got to build basically an A-arm that's going to fit in here. That's going to hold all that together. You bolt all that together. You put your brake drum and your wheel on the outside of here. But even just sitting like this, the wheel's sitting here rubbing against the side of this frame. So I'm going to need to find a way to take looks like about 3 inches, maybe a little more. I got to do some fancy Purdue math to figure out how much I've got to take out of the upper frame. But I don't know if you can see it though. The upper frame isn't perfectly square. So the way it's sitting, it's about 3 inches wider from here to here than it is from here to here. So I may be able to just break these 4 tack welds and rotate this frame 90 degrees and not have to do any cutting. The only issue comes in when I'm trying to install and remove this motor. Obviously it'll come out through the top, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough room for this oil filter housing to clear the frame if I were to move that 3 inches from, if I were to take it and make it narrower, or I'm sorry, yeah, longer and more narrow. I don't know. Is that the way it would go? Actually, I might be alright, because it would go a little longer, so I might be alright doing that. But a little frustrating. I don't know that 3 inches is going to be enough, because it only gives me 1.5 inches on each side, and that U-joint, as it's sitting, it has about a ½ inch here. Get a better focus. There's about a ½ inch here that it still would compress in. But I also have the brake drum that would go on the outside, spacing the wheel out a little, so who knows. But like I said, frustrating day. Afternoon. I only been out here like 10 minutes, but anyways, I do think I'm gonna try that. Try those Honda carburetors. Where are they? Sitting over here in my pile of junk somewhere. Where are they? Let's see if I can. They're over there somewhere. Throw those Honda carburetors on here. Figure what's the worst I can do. Have it not start and not run. I mean, then I got to spend the money on the, them Corvair carburetors. They can get a little pricey, but trying to keep the cost on this whole thing down. I got these parts already, so may as well try them. So, anyways, that's the Trike update for the day. Maybe I'll get this stuff, these tack welds broke and remeasured out and relayed out, and maybe have a better update for Labor Day for tomorrow. But that's where we are so far today. Have a good one.